Welcome to HOA Tales.TIMES, where power trips, petty fines, and neighborhood politics turn into full-blown courtroom drama. Tonight's story isn't about tall grass or mailbox paint colors. It's about power, control, and what happens when someone finally says, enough. When I bought 58 acres of farmland just outside Willowbrook, I wasn't trying to start a war. I just wanted quiet. After 15 years of city noise, traffic, and working nonstop, I dreamed of open sky and mornings where the only sound was wind moving through tall grass. Willowbrook Valley had that kind of peace. Rolling hills, old barns, generations of families who waved when they passed you on the road. Technically, my land sat just outside the Willowbrook HOA boundary. That detail mattered more than I realized. Willowbrook HOA was run by one woman, Karen Pemberton. She had been president for 8 years. No one really remembered an election. She just stayed. Karen liked control. She fined people for garbage cans left out 20 minutes too long. She one-sided a retired teacher because her roses were too red. She walked the neighborhood like she owned it. When word spread that I bought the large parcel beyond the south fence, Karen showed up within a week. She stepped out of her white SUV wearing oversized sunglasses and a smile that didn't reach her eyes. "Marcus," she said sweetly, "we value harmony here. I hope you'll follow community standards." "I'm not an HOA. I told her." Her smile tightened. "Yes," she replied. "We're aware." That was the moment I unknowingly became a problem. A month later, I put up a steel ranch gate at the entrance to my property. Nothing dramatic, just a strong gate with a key padlock. I planned to keep equipment secure and stop random drivers from using my driveway as a shortcut. The next morning, Karen's SUV was parked sideways in front of it, blocking my entrance. She was on the phone when I pulled up. "You can't restrict access to community pathways," she snapped before I even spoke. "This isn't community land," I said calmly. "It's mine." She handed me a printed document, a violation notice. It accused me of obstructing shared property access, failing to submit landscaping plans, and disrupting community development objectives. I laughed at first. Then I noticed something strange. One of the alleged shared pathways she referenced didn't exist on any county map. That was the first crack in her story. Over the next few weeks, the harassment escalated. Emails, letters, anonymous complaints. Someone reported me for illegal agricultural activity, even though I was just clearing brush. Neighbors started whispering, but something else happened too. 3 different residents quietly approached me. They told me Karen had been pressuring them to vote on a land optimization proposal. She claimed the southern fields, including mine, were historically connected to HOA property and could be included in a development deal. A development deal. That was the second crack. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a politician. But I know how to read documents. So I went digging. County records. Old property surveys. Meeting minutes from years ago. What I found shocked me. Karen had been quietly negotiating with a private development group for over a year. The proposal involved selling a large section of common land inside Willowbrook to build luxury townhomes. But here's the problem. That land sale required proof of expanded community access corridors. In simple terms, they needed my acreage connected to the HOA on paper to make the deal more attractive. And that shared pathway she cited, it appeared only in HOA meeting notes, not in legal county filings. Then it got worse. Financial statements showed consulting fees paid to a shell company that traced back to someone with Karen's last name. I didn't jump to conclusions. I documented everything. I installed cameras at my gate. I recorded every interaction. And I talked to more neighbors. Turns out, many of them had paid questionable special assessment fees over the years. Thousands of dollars. No clear explanation. They were scared to challenge her. She threatened liens, lawsuits, even foreclosure. But fear changes when someone finally stands up. By the time we were done gathering evidence, half the neighborhood was ready to speak. The monthly HOA meeting was packed. Usually maybe 12 people showed up. That night, over 60 residents filled the room. Karen stood at the podium, composed as ever. She started with her usual speech about protecting property values. Then she mentioned my illegal obstruction again. That's when I stood up. I walked to the front with a folder in my hand and a USB drive. "I'd like to clarify something," I said. First, I showed the county survey on projector, proving my land was never HOA property. Murmurs filled the room. Then I displayed the development proposal with Karen's signature. Gasps. Next came the financial records linking HOA funds to the shell company. Silence. Finally, I played security footage of Karen blocking my gate and threatening me with fabricated violations. Her face drained of color. And then something powerful happened. Neighbors stood up one by one. An elderly man described being fined repeatedly after refusing to vote for development. A young couple explained how they were pressured to pay emergency infrastructure fees that never materialized. By the time local detectives, who had been quietly observing the back, stepped forward, the room felt electric. Karen tried to speak, but there was nothing left to say. She was escorted out in front of everyone. The woman who ruled Willowbrook for nearly a decade walked out in handcuffs. Investigations lasted months. The development deal collapsed. Financial audits revealed years of misused funds. The HOA dissolved under legal restructuring. A new, transparent neighborhood association formed. Voluntary this time. No secret votes. No mystery fees. Just neighbors working together. As for my gate, it still stands. Locked, solid, quiet. But now when I look at it, it doesn't represent conflict. It represents a boundary. Not just of land, but of power. Karen believed control would protect her influence. Instead, it exposed her. The lesson isn't about revenge. It's about unity. For years, people whisper behind closed doors. The moment they stood together, everything changed. Justice didn't come from one man with documents. It came from a community that finally refused to be afraid. And sometimes, all it takes to end someone's reign is a locked gate and the courage to hold your ground. If this story reminds you why accountability matters, you're in the right place. This is HOA Tales.TIMES, where control meets consequences and ordinary neighbors become unlikely heroes. Because peace isn't given. Sometimes you have to defend it.